Josh Laddick with GSA Focus, and today we're going to be talking with John Wayne II, and he's with several companies out of Tampa Bay, Florida, just going into several topics: business development, federal marketing, proposal writing. So a lot of good stuff coming. First off, I'll just turn it over to John, let you explain a little bit about what it is you do, your companies. The floor is yours.
Howdy all. John Wayne here. Thanks for the introduction, Josh. We've been working together now, 5, 6, 7 years?
Yeah.
Been a while. Been a hot minute. Let me just give you guys some background first. I did government contracts 14, 15 years ago for a company that I owned where we did events. The company was called Big Mouths because we did events, and we just thought it was a very appropriate name for, I did a master of ceremonies for most events, so I always got to dress up and be a big mouth, So that worked out. 2007, we were doing government events, so we had to register in the system, and the CCR in Orca back then, there was no such thing as a KH code yet. But we did the registrations. We wound up actually hiring an attorney to help us with it because it was pretty hairy. But we got them done, and we were doing events, and everything was going great. 2007, we did almost $5 million in revenues. So it wasn't a bad year. And
Nice.
we conceivably grown the business. We doubled each year. So the year before that, we did 2.5. The year before that, we did 1. That was 500. So each year we were double. We got an offer to sell Big Mouths in 2007 and should have jumped on it, but I didn't because I figured, we're going to double again next year and we're going to do 10, 20, 40, 80, it's just going to keep growing. Unfortunately, in 2008, housing market crashed. People stopped spending. And we basically went out of business. We went from doing phenomenal to doing hardly any business. Nobody wanted to spend. The same thing has happened. Same thing happened, unfortunately, during 9/11. The same thing happened. I owned a business when FedEx went on strike, almost 30 years ago, and we lost our geezers. It's just bad timing. But long story short, received an offer from a friend who had a registration business doing basic registrations. And I worked for them for 10 years, and I trained their clients how to bid on federal contracts. And it gave me way more experience in the arena, not just the entertainment contracts here, but working on 5,000 to 10,000 federal bids and proposal solicitations every year for 10 years. I'm not bragging, but I've worked on over 100,000 bids and proposal solicitations with the federal government and quite a few state, local, and county and city governments as well. It was a great run, but I came to terms with the fact that, I helped the client win a $125 million 5-year IDIQ, and they sent me a dozen roses and an Outback gift certificate for $100. And that was nice. They didn't have to do that. I have to say it was a little awkward getting roses as a guy.
Yeah.
But, that's when it kind of hit me that I should be helping people win these contracts and having them share a percentage of the profits that I'm helping make. And that's when I retired from that company and sold them my old YouTube channel and took a vacation. I went on a hiatus for a while and took a break. This is when COVID happened, so it was kind of good timing. Went visited family and just went on vacation for a while until I got bored with that. And then I decided, all right, it's time to get back in the game. Teach people how to win federal contracts. Write proposals for them if they don't want to learn. And also just help people grow their businesses in general. So we came up with basically 3 ideas. We came up with 3 separate entities. ProfessionalProposalWriting.com is strictly that. You need something written, whether it be a proposal or a professional paper or white paper, a business plan, anything like that, and you just want to pay us to do it for you and not teach you, that's fine. That's what ProfessionalProposalWriting.com is for, is people want to pay to have something written. John Wayne Contracts was about helping you sell to the government. Just basically how to sell to the government. So JohnWayneContracts.com and GrowMyBusinessQuick.com is more of a all-around. We'll teach you how to sell to the government, state, local, county, city, federal. We'll teach you how to do more import, export, industrial work, commercial, residential, whatever type of work that you're currently doing. We know we can help you do more. So that's, I don't want to say I have a favorite, but I have a favorite. I don't like it when someone pays me to write something for them because I'd rather teach them. And that's just my nature. Of course, I have clients that don't want to learn, so they're going to pay us. We're going to do it because it's out of necessity. But if you give a man a fish, feed him for a day, right? You teach a man a fish. He may stay drunk on a boat, but he can feed himself. Right? So that's why I do have a favorite child out of all my businesses, and that's Grow My Business. I teach you how to fish and help you fish and enjoy those meals with you. Enjoy a piece of your catch, if you will. And it works out well, in the arena that we work there, we ask for a small investment to start. We ask for a very small percentage of the profits. We're not greedy. My business model is this. I can do government contracts. I have the means, I have the knowledge, I have the will, but I can only make 100% of what I make. By teaching people how to do it, I can make 1% from 1,000 clients. Mm-hmm. So instead of making 100%, I can make 1,000% what my clients can make. And that's my business model. Very simple.
Great. How do you pre-qualify clients? Because, in looking at your approach and I use something similar, but it's more of a money back guarantee rather than a profit sharing kind of model. But yeah, you always want to protect yourself and, how do you pre-screen a client and ultimately know that they've got skin in the game and they're going to be serious about pursuing government work and you're not going to invest all your time, effort, put them through your training and all that stuff just to have them kind of move their eyes and focus on, landing a Coca-Cola style, a big brand as a customer and just being consumed by them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do. And one of the things that we do teach people is don't go after the biggest fish first. Grow respectably, grow properly, because we can hurt you just as much as we can help you. If we help you win too many contracts too quickly and you can't handle that much volume, or we help you win a contract that's too big and you can't handle that type of volume, we can definitely hurt you as much as we can help you. So we're very careful in doing that. I have had some clients kind of bite off more than they can chew, and we had to jump through some hoops to help them get out of that predicament. But we did. I just like to stay out of that predicament. So let me just say that to start with. Also, I've never turned a person down with help. If we can, if I don't think they're in the right position to sell to the government, I will tell them. I'm blatantly honest. But we can still help them sell residential contracts or other arenas. And I'm glad you brought that up because I actually worked with this kid. This is 10 years ago. He called me. He said, "Hey, I saw the War Dogs movie. I found your videos. I love your content. I've watched everybody online. And there's some good ones out there. I like your style better. And I want you to help me." So I kind of did a pre-qualification with him, and come to find out he's 19 years old. He's dropped out of high school. He's got felonies. He's got no car, no phone. He lives in his grandmother's basement. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I can help this kid. Okay. But we still did the evaluation, and I said, okay, look, this is what you need to do. You need to, from A to B, here's your steps. You need to work on your credit score. You're going to have financing if you're going to do any types of contracts. Unless you're physically doing the work yourself, you have to pay people out of your pocket until you're paid. Because the government is different from everybody else. They don't prepay for the most part like everybody else does. But I gave this kid this punch list of things to do, and I didn't hear from him for a year. And sure enough, a year later, he called me up and he said, okay, it's all done. You're ready to go. He got his license. He got a car. He did everything I did on the punch list. So the kid had the heart of a lion, despite the fact that he was in the position of a bloody lamb that had one leg to step on,
Yeah.
As far as our pre-qualifications, We just do the steps and see what you have in place, what you're already doing to qualify for it. If you do need financing, if you do need lines of credit to support these contracts or fulfill your inventory, and we help with all that from square one.
Okay, so you deep dive into the business and look for blind spots or holes that need to be filled in order to just kind of have that foundation to sell to the government. And
a punch list of things to do, and we don't charge them a penny for that. They don't do the punch list. You come back and you got that punch list fulfilled, then I know you have the heart of a lion. We will take you on. We will teach you everything you know.
Awesome. Great approach. I really like it. I'm wondering, studying marine biology and child psychology, how has that helped you in what you're doing? Because I'm coming into government contracting with a degree in cognitive science, and people ask all the time, how'd that help? So I thought I'd for once get to ask that question to someone else.
Well, I love the question because I went into marine biology because I absolutely love it. The ocean is just to go into a place like that and be in that environment where you're not technically supposed to be there, and to be able to do things, to be able to help. I want to one day start a coral farm and grow corals to reproduce our reefs that are being destroyed. There's a lot of things I want to do in the grand scheme of things. It's going to take some time and a lot of money to do it, but I eventually, and I apologize, my eyes are watering for the pollen. I'm not at the farm, by the way, in case you guys haven't noticed. In the camper farm, the pollen content is extremely high, and my eyes are just watering like crazy.
Yeah. We're getting it here too in Birmingham.
Crazy. I wanted to be a marine biologist because I loved it. You do what you love, you never work a day in your life. But I realized two things. My instructor, Dr. Matthews, Haywood Matthews, who's still alive, I saw him at Home Depot a couple of weeks ago. I heard his voice 2 hours over, and I knew it was him because I studied under him for 4 years,
Yeah.
He's the one that told me, look, you're not getting the whole life in the boat as a marine biologist. You're going to sit behind a desk doing paperwork. That's your job. And just so you know, you're going to do like 4 years of internship for free. And the average marine biologist is going to make $45,000 to $55,000 a year. You get into it for 10, 15 years, you might break 100,000 if you're lucky. It's not a job for people who want to be wealthy. It's a job for people who just strictly love what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I loved it, but not that much. I have to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, all right, well, what else could I do to make real money and make a difference in the world? I'll be the next Dr. Seuss, right? I'll become a child psychiatrist or psychologist, and I'll help children. And then one of my instructors, she goes, if you do become, especially in the child arena, you're going to be paid by parents to help their kids, and 99% of the time, the parents are the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, I didn't want to make money off the suffering, of something. So I kind of just walked away from all of it for a bit and to decide, what are you going to do? And at the time, I owned a janitorial business, and, I'm making $5,000, $10,000 a week. I'm still a kid. I got a kid on the way. That whole thing, see, there's another situation. I had a great business, and one of my employees stole turkeys from the restaurant the day before Thanksgiving. He stole all the turkeys. How are they not going to notice the turkeys are missing? I lost the contract. I lost the Red Lobster contract. I lost Outback was just coming around. I lost that. I lost it all. So anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. How does my child psychology and my psychology help this? Well, it did teach me that if you're going to own a business, you want to do something you enjoy. Do something that obviously is going to make you money, but you enjoy it. Because if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And that's how I am now with this business and helping people grow their business or sell to the government. I love it. I couldn't ask for a better life. I go up every day and I help people, and they pay me for it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, sorry to hurl a question at you from left field, but I like to kind of learn about your path, and
I like to dig deep too. That's one thing I like about you. I've noticed that with your clients. You don't just provide a solution. You dig deep. You know them. You make sure that you're going to help them.
Yeah. I mean, working with small businesses, everyone's a snowflake, and if you don't know all of the just intricacies, then you can't really do what you need to for them. Which lately, I've been going through a lot of growth, and it's been harder to do that, and had to lean on a lot more people and processes and training and stuff like that. Something I'm sure you know a lot about.
I can tell you, I've never worked with one of your clients who had nothing but gold to say about you.
Yeah.
Not to blow you up, give you a big head, but I'm telling you, every one of your clients that I work with, they're just so amazed with you.
Well, I appreciate that feedback.
That shows the dedication you have. That's all.
Yeah. Well, and I think we both have a passion for small businesses. Let's kind of segue into just kind of the meat and potatoes of the conversation, and just this video's or this interview is really to introduce you to anybody that's on my channel, and of course also always got to bring value. So the value that is in your head can help a lot of people, and has helped a lot of people. So I kind of wanted to point towards that a little bit, and focusing on two categories. So let's start out with kind of the biz dev, federal marketing side of things. You have some kind of training courses that kind of go into that, right?
Yes.
What do those training courses cover? And what are some of the kind of just gold nuggets that are found in there?
We've actually started making a series of videos, little 1 minute videos that are what is or how to videos. They're 1 minute or less. We call them John Wayne's Jewels.
The Jewels, yeah. I've been watching those.
Nuggets of knowledge.
Those are good. They're produced well too. They're produced well.
I got to give props to Davey Rockwell at DaveyRockwellPostProduction.com. Davey is awesome. I've been working with him for 10 years now. He's done 90% of my production. He's amazing.
Wow. Okay.
And his website is DRPP, so we call him Dr. PP. David Rockwell Post Production. He didn't realize that when he put his business model together.
Oh man.
And it's you gotta laugh. Laughter is part of life. So
yeah.
What we typically do with clients, first thing we're going to do is go through, and again, I apologize for my eyes watering. I did take some antihistamines, I just haven't kicked in yet. What we like to do is, first of all, sit down and go through where you're at and where you want to go. What's your goal? What's your end game? When do you want to retire? How do you want to retire? Stuff like that. So we can figure out a complete solution. And then we go through and see all the registrations that you have, all the registrations that you don't have. 95% of the time I ask people, are you registered in Binary Workflow or IRAP? Like, what's that? Well, it's one of the systems you got to get paid in by the government.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and do that now before you win a contract. So once you go through this list of all these systems that they need, MBE, DVE, Payday, Help Zone, if they need GSA, of course, you are the man. And make sure that they have all their ducks in a row, all their I's dotted, all their T's crossed.
Yeah.
Anything that they don't have on that list, well, here's your punch list. This is what you need to do next. And then we physically, through Google Meet, like calls like this, we physically help them with that process. If they need help getting set up in IRAP, our binary workflow, we online, live, do it with them and help them get it done. So we can help them get that punch list done quickly.
Yeah.
The sooner that punch list is done, the sooner they can start bidding contracts. So that's typically square one, is that evaluation to make sure that you have everything in place before you start running. Once you've got everything in place, we're going to teach you how to set up your searches so they run automatically. We're going to help you if you want to do state, local, county, or city or government, help you register in those systems and find those opportunities to bid on. Then once you find them, we physically help those bids and proposals, solicitations, and teach you how to do them properly. Now, that's just on the government side. While we're doing that, we're also looking at, is your website functional? Do you have a proper email address? Is your voicemail set up right? All these little things on the back end that if you're doing wrong are going to hurt you on the front end.
Yeah.
And I can give you some of the most simple examples. When was the last time someone bought allergy? Probably today.
I mean,
this week,
yeah,
you know?
probably. Yeah. My mom does it all the time.
One of my clients gone. I hear him walking, there's his phone's in his pocket. And of course, I hang up, and not 30 seconds later, phone's ringing again. He's left out me 2, 3, 4 times in a row because he doesn't have a phone lock on his phone. And that's a simple thing, but that's one of the things on the punch list we teach our clients. Don't lose business out of sheer stupidity or even worse, out of ignorance.
Yeah.
Okay? You know when you lose a client. We all do. We don't win every bid.
Yeah.
We take the time to submit a bid. We don't win it. We find out Joe Schmo won it. We know we lost that business. That hurts. Okay?
Yeah.
We didn't win it, of course. The problem is, it's the business that you're losing that you don't know you're losing that's killing you because you don't know you're losing it and you don't know what to do to fix it because you don't know you're losing it. So we want to prevent that with a whole list of simple things to do. Make sure your voicemail is set up. Always answer your phone. You've heard me say this stuff over and over again. Communication. Now, the reason why we created the communication breakdown video series is because that is the biggest arena that people lose business and don't know why they're losing the business. You talk to a client, you submit a proposal, they don't hire you, you call them, they don't call you back, they don't email you back, you don't know why they didn't hire you.
Yeah.
There's something we did along the way in the communication process that they didn't like. It's usually that over price, believe it or not. More people lose business not because they weren't the cheapest, because they weren't giving the client exactly what they wanted, or they made a mistake along the way in the communication process.
Yeah.
So we made a 100-part communication video series all about communication because that is the biggest hurt.
Wow. I had no idea that you went so deep.
Well, we have to.
Yeah.
I've showed you that list of 100 mistakes that businesses make. And I've tried to add to that list, but those 100 mistakes pretty much cover it all. But communication is the biggest problem. Just the way you email can make a difference.
Yeah.
I had a client that every time he emailed me, even though he's already a client, he had all these attachments in his email and all these certification pictures and once you're doing business with someone, you don't need all that stuff in your email. It's just clutter.
Yeah.
Simple things in the most part. And then there's some things that are more advanced, more complicated. I went through it wasn't really a capability statement. So I'm helping a client sign up with a client to do subcontract work. And they had this list of questions. It was 15 questions. She answered them really well. She did a phenomenal job. But she answered them like she was giving a speech. You know what I mean? And that's how I write. When I write stuff, I write like I'm going to give a speech.
Yeah.
And then it's usually a speech because I do a lot of public speaking. But if I write something that's not going to be a speech and it's going to be a document, then we rewrite it in a way it's worded that it's better in writing than it is verbally.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we worked on that for an hour, and we turned that gold into diamonds because it was gold. What she wrote was really good, but we sharpened it. We pressured it, and we turned it into diamonds in an hour.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hear communication, and that's important. I mean, in my own business, I have all these flags going up in my head of, just little things that, basically I'd call them Post-its in my brain that I need to do to improve the communication on the sales side, on the customer success side, operations, all that stuff. And I think you're absolutely right. The opportunities that you miss because of that stuff, you don't see it. You don't have any idea that it's even there. But that's
fix it. So you keep doing the same thing over and
yeah,
over.
Yeah.
Definition of insanity. We don't know to fix it because we don't know it's a problem.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I call it stop the bleeding. If you want to grow your business, the first thing you should do is stop the bleeding first.
Yeah, yeah, and a big part of just being a business owner is just getting out of that denial state. I'm not bleeding. You know, every business is bleeding. When you start to feel like your business isn't bleeding, then you're starting to die because you're not motivated anymore to fix stuff. You know, you
Right, right.
I just started the let's see, last June I started Traction. Have you read the book Traction or heard of it?
No.
It's the entrepreneurial operating system, and it basically takes you from point A to point B, or point I'd say A to Z, on setting up a management team, setting goals, and mapping those goals to completion, and all that stuff. Covers a lot. Um, and in setting all that up, uh, there's an issues list. That's kind of where I was going with this. That one of the really big things that's helped my company the most is just having that list of issues and having my management team have access to that list and just growing that list. What every time a problem pops up, big, small, even if it's, you know, something that works great, but it could work a little bit better, you know, put it on the list. And then every you know, once a month, let's go through that list, prioritize things, and turn them into projects. Let's keep improving. Let's sharpen the axe more and more and more. So yeah, great stuff. And that kind of leads into my next question, which you partially answered already. I was going to ask, you know, what are the top 3 business development mistakes that small businesses make? You hit communication really hard. I'm guessing that's the first one. Anything else come to mind on that front?
You know, the biggest problem I've seen with growth is funding. If you look at Tower Records, you know, if you know the story of Tower Records, they came out in the, I believe, the 60s, early 50s, and started selling records and eventually cassette tapes, and they became one of the largest record suppliers, largest music suppliers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They had like 30 stores in Japan. They were the world dominator, but they ran out of funding. They wound up going upside down. They had so much infrastructure that they couldn't even support their own sales.
Huh.
And eventually, the banks took them over and pieced them out. And so, you know, they went from being one of the most successful record stores on the planet to not being able to pay their own payroll. You know, so
Yeah.
there's obviously, you probably heard me say this. Rome wasn't built in a day, but Rome was destroyed in a day because it wasn't built right. If you're going to build a business, do it right from day one. Or if you're an existing business owner and you're making 12, 15% profit each year, you're growing each year substantially, that's great. But you could grow more if you stop the bleeding. The only way to stop the bleeding is to find out where you're bleeding. And like you mentioned, don't be so proud or so arrogant that, well, no, we're doing great. We grow every year. We're fine.
Yeah.
There's areas that you're not seeing because there's 3 types of business owners. You run a business, the business runs you, or you run a business into the ground. Those are the 3 business runners. And a person who runs a business is a person who can walk away for weeks or months at a time and not take a single phone call, answer a single email, and come back 3 months later and that business is still growing. That's a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
If you own a business and you can't walk away for a day or a week and come back and there's not chaos, you don't own that business. It owns you.
Very, very true.
You want to be as a business owner. You want to be able to take a break now and then. And just when I retired from my last employer and went on my hiatus, 8 months, I just went and just enjoyed myself. You know, I was just, needless to say, I was a little burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
But as a business owner, if you can't do that, if you can't walk away and take a week or a month and come back, then you don't own the business. It owns you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's I can't I don't know anybody that runs a business that doesn't kind of have that tension between wanting to put themselves in the middle in that spoken hub model and feel important and that everything depends on you. Right. But also, even when you're there and you put yourself there, you're just kind of like, I did it again. I I put myself in the middle when I've been trying to pull myself out and let my team do what they do. Let them have the accountability and the responsibility. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to do. It takes a special person to be able to pull that off. At least to a high level.
I am in a position where I can walk away for any period of time and come back and everything still because it's so well organized. But I love working so much. When I'm not working, I feel like I'm missing out. I feel like I'm on a carnival. As a kid, when you couldn't go to the carnival that day when you were supposed to go, you couldn't be like, oh, I couldn't go to the carnival today. That's how I feel when I'm not working. Like I'm being punished. I'm not allowed to go to the carnival. But that's also why we always answer the phone. Everything we teach, everything we preach, we do.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for that. Let's go into your vast knowledge of proposal writing and just kind of poke around in that for a little bit. I have a couple questions prepared. Let's see. Let's start off with just one that I've been wondering for a long time, because in the GSA world, I'm a paperwork guy. Pull the paperwork together, put it in, submit it, see the process through. It's a little political, but then I take my clients to the finish line, and then I help them, of course, with maintenance and anything revolving around the GSA contract. But they come to me pretty often and ask, well, what am I doing or what am I not doing? What should I be doing to win? And I just kind of say, well, that's above my head, outside of my lane. But here's the question that I want to be able to answer. What is a good win percentage? How does somebody know that they're performing well? If they're good at tracking themselves. Yeah.
That's a great question, because we get a lot of people that want to sell to the federal government because they've already been selling to state, local, county. They've already been selling to the local government, and they want to take that next level. Unfortunately, they've already worked harder selling to the state than they ever would to the feds, because state, local, county, city government, they're more hands-on. They're more kind of the people that will actually come out to your storefront and shake your hand. They want to see your website. They want you to come to site visits. They will talk to you on the phone, and they're more hands-on. The feds are completely the opposite. The federal government, these purchasing agents, these CORs, they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to come to your office. They don't want to shake, because they don't have to.
Yeah.
But they purchase on a federal basis. So they might be buying from, they're in California, they're buying from somebody in New York. They're obviously not going to flat meet them. They don't want to. They don't have to. Also, the federal regulations as far as simple acquisitions and small business set-asides, they only need 3 to 5 offers in those cases to award a contract. So even, state contract, there might be 50 bidders, 50 offers on a state contract.
Yeah.
Which is mind-boggling. Statistically, your chances are 1 out of 50. There might also be 50 on a federal bid, but if the purchasing agent only needs 5 or 7, they will throw out 43 of those. They will look for a reason to throw it out, so they don't have to look at it, because they only need 5.
Yeah.
So what you're submitting isn't 100%. They haven't dotted every I and crossed every T. They have an excuse to throw it out.
Yeah.
You've probably heard me say in my videos, you're going to do it in pink crayon with purple sprinkles, because that's what it's worth.
Can you rewind just a second? I think we had a little bubble on the internet. What was that you were saying?
It's one of the simplest things. If you're going to submit it right.
Yeah.
If they have an excuse to throw it out, they will. For example, when people submit stuff that's handwritten, I tell them, if you're going to submit something that's handwritten, do it in pink crayon with purple sparkles. That's what it's worth. They're going to throw it out just because it's handwritten. They're going to say they couldn't read your handwriting.
Yeah.
You gave them an excuse not to hire you, even though you could have had the best price, you would have given them the best product, the best service. They don't care. It's not their money. I'm not talking bad about them. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying this is their job. These guys they buy hundreds of thousands of things. Mm-hmm. They don't know anything about what they're buying. They don't care to know. They're just doing their job. They don't retire billionaires. Government employees retire. They get a great retirement. They get great benefits. I'm not dissing government employees or people who work for the government. I'm saying they just want to do their job as easy as possible. and they want to go home at the end of the day and watch reruns of Impractical Jokers. Yes, right?
Great show. Yeah. Yeah.
If you can give them what they need, give them good service and a good price, and fill out the documentation properly every time, you're going to win more. So to answer your question, what's the percentage? In the grand scheme of things, if they only need 5 offers, and you're one of those offers, then you got a 20% chance of winning. If that purchasing agent got 50 offers, and they're throwing 45 of them out because they only need 5 offers, and you didn't give them exactly what they needed, you're not going to be a part of that 5. You're going to be a part of the 45 that keeps getting thrown out. You're never going to win.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, if you're submitting the documentation properly, giving them exactly what they want, your chances of winning one is 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 7. Now, as a newbie, are they going to trust you if they've never heard of you and you don't have any past performance? You might not. It might take a few bits.
Mm-hmm.
I've had one of my greatest success stories, Clay South. God bless him. Great guy. He's still killing it, still smashing it. He submitted 43 bids before he.
Oh my gosh.
43.
That's awesome.
He didn't give up.
Yeah.
Give up. And remember, when he submitted 42 and he didn't win it, he called me and reminded me again, if this doesn't work, I will find you. I will kick your ass. And he's a retired Marine. He's like a foot taller than me and outweighs me by 100 pounds, and I'm 6'4". He could kick my ass. So fortunately, he didn't quit. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's perseverance. He didn't give up. He continued to do it properly. He finally found a purchasing agent that trusted him. They hired him. He got good scores in PPR, CPARs, and PAPIS. They did more business with him. They referred him to other purchasing agents. Once you win your first contract, it will snowball. But you've got to be dedicated to win the first one.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked that because that ties back into the first question about how do you filter people to make sure they're going to work hard and do this.
Yeah. Yeah. If they make it through your punch list, then that's pretty indicative that they're going to make it through the proposal writing process.
Yes.
So
they actually implement what we teach them and use it. A lot of them use it. They don't implement it like it's the book, and then they go back to their old ways of doing things. I hate to say it, but one of the simplest things I teach to people, it's on the list, is to stop saying the word sorry. That actual word, don't say sorry. When someone's late to an appointment, the first thing they say is, I'm sorry I'm late, right? You can apologize, but don't use the word sorry. If you're late, obviously let them know ahead of time if you can. But when you arrive, you say, I am 10 minutes late. Thank you for your patience. It was traffic. I still apologize, but I didn't say it in the way that I'm sorry. Because once you're sorry, and that's your first impression, you're sorry forever. But by thanking you for your patience, you're now patient with me. You have to be because I thanked you for it.
right.
But do you continue to say the word sorry? Half my clients don't. They take it to heart. And then half of them, they don't implement it as much as they should.
Yeah.
So now we have to go back through that again. Let's stay sorry. Let's go back to the first list. These are things not to do. You have to implement it in order for it to work.
Awesome. Good
so
stuff.
It's not a get-rich quick scheme. It's still hard work and dedication, but it is a retirement plan.
Yeah. It's a make yourself better slowly scheme.
Exactly. And that's the way you should grow any business. And that's the way you should grow in life.
Yeah.
Grow slowly. Enjoy every moment and grow properly. You can't change yourself overnight.
Absolutely.
I teach people to learn the military alphabet. Especially if you're going to sell the federal government, most of them are active retired military. They use it.
Yeah.
Learn one letter a day. You don't have to learn one letter a day. And in a month you'll know it.
I've got it posted on my wall right here.
Nice.
right next to 2 Falcon 9 rockets landing. So
Nice.
it's a good wall. So let's see. Well, just to recap that, so many good pointers there. But 1 in 5 is 20%. Don't expect that initially. You're going to have to fight for the first one. 20%. Aim for 20% in year 2, and go try to push it to 30-40% over the next two years, something like that. That's pretty much.
Double each year. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. It's federal marketing is momentum building. It's not linear in any way. And yeah, thanks for answering that. Your insights help a lot, and they kind of confirm a lot of the things that I ask customers, because in the GSA world, it's a 20-year contract. But if you're not performing and meeting that minimum sales requirement of 25,000 every year, and they do give you 2 years, that longer runway initially. But if you're not meeting that, the GSA has grown some teeth when it comes to canceling your contract for that reason. And when I get a customer, gets the dreaded email saying your contract is on the chopping block, I pretty much always have a phone call with them. What's going on? Why no sales? And when I ask them, are you on eBuy regularly? Are you bidding? I can't think of, I won't say never, but most of them say no. I haven't been participating. I did a couple, didn't win them. It's, I thought maybe there's another way. No, there's no other way. There's one path. There's no secret to it.
Yep. Persistence and consistency is all it is.
Yeah.
You throw enough stuff at the wall, something's going to stick.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about quality too. Quantity is definitely there. You got to put the quantity in. But how can somebody just make sure that they're massaging the contract in the right way, keeping a solid quality check process, keeping themselves in check and disciplined about double checking everything. I hate to think about how many man hours have gone into, and women hours, great minds building proposals, and they missed one little detail, didn't check one little box, and their proposal was thrown out. I mean, we're talking billions of hours that people have poured into these proposals, and to just have them drop right into the wastebasket because a detail was missed. Like you said, the government's they're gonna be doing the separating the wheat from the chaff down to their 5 or 7, anyways. So those hours are always going to be wasted. No way around it. But how can a company work their proposal writing? Their abilities, I'd say. How can somebody that is starting, small business, they just put a couple things in place, SBA, GSA, whatever it may be, they're showing some commitment into this market. And the missing piece is they need to become better proposal writers. How do they get from knowing almost nothing about it to producing high quality proposals, in the fastest, most expedient way possible?
Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but stopping the bleeding is huge. And implementing systems that work, even if it's the simplest things, implementing and making them work. And I'll give you an example. One of the things I teach and we do whenever we write a proposal is we include a signature page. A signature page is not a required document for submitting most business proposals. Matter of fact, most purchases have never even heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
But what it is, it's one page that says you agree to the entire document in its whole. So if you did forget to initial a page or sign here or put a date, your signature page agrees to the entire document as a whole.
Smart.
Which gives the government a loophole that if you did miss that one, they don't care because you have a signature page that agrees to terms and conditions. It also gives multiple people an opportunity to modify or change the contract. Mm-hmm. And it also gives a spot where you can add any amendments. So on one page, you're agreeing to the entire document, you're acknowledging the amendments, and you're giving multiple people the opportunity to negotiate on your behalf. In case the government wants to hire you and calls you and you're busy or your phone's dead, you got 2 other people they can reach out to who can negotiate on your behalf. So it alleviates any possible issues that could happen with one page, mm-hmm. one piece of paper solves 18 different problems that could arise. So we've stopped the bleeding. We've found areas where you're making mistakes, whether you forgot to sign here or there, or didn't agree to the amendments, didn't acknowledge the amendments, or they tried to reach out to you to amend the contract, to get a change, or hey, you didn't sign this page, sign it real quick, we want to hire you. You solved 18 problems with one piece of paper.
Yeah.
But no one else does because they don't know to do it. They don't know any better. I only know because every time someone's lost a contract because of an issue, I made sure that issue doesn't happen again. And we've solved 18 of those issues with one piece of paper.
That's great. That might be the most valuable thing in this whole conversation for anybody watching.
Now, and I'll tell you why that started. One of the very first proposals I worked on at the company that I used to work for was for a construction of a nuclear power plant. Okay, this is not a cheap proposal to write, much less multi-billion-dollar contract.
Yeah.
They sent people out to do site visits. They put them up in hotels. They had people draw blueprints. They had commissioning companies that were involved. They spent $100,000 just putting this bid together, and then hired a proposal writer. I won't mention his name because I wasn't doing proposal writing back then. They hired someone else, and I didn't refer them to him, so it wasn't my fault they hired the guy. But he wrote an immaculate proposal. He really did a good job, but he forgot to include the bid bond. He made one little mistake. He didn't include the bid bond with the proposal that was required. And he gave it to him at the last minute, so I didn't have a chance to look it over because I would have caught that. First thing I do when I go through a proposal is I make sure all the freaking documents are attached.
Yeah.
The document's missing. That's right here. We got the missing document. Let's start there.
Yeah.
They get a chance to look at it because if it's submitted at the last minute, they didn't win it. We did a debriefing, and the purchasing agent actually didn't respond to them. I had to reach out to the purchasing agent and ask him, and he said, "You know what happened? I know your name, so I will tell you what happened. They made an amateur beginner mistake. They forgot to include the bid bond. They were our first choice. We would have hired them, but we couldn't because they didn't include the bid bond."
Wow.
That's simple. Just freaking checklist.
Yeah.
So I made sure moving forward, anytime I work with someone that submits a bid, we're going to make sure all the documents are there. That's our first process. Are all the documents attached? Are they in the right order? Are they formatted correctly? Did you use the right font? Did you use the right size font? Because they specified right here in the instructions to offer 52.212-1.3, they wanted size 12 times Roman only, and you did freaking Arial because you like the look of it. So you lost the contract because you didn't format the font in the way they asked you to. Why did they do that? Why did they ask you for 14 or 16 point times New Roman? To see if you're paying attention to the instructions.
Mm-hmm.
To give them a reason to throw your bid out because they don't want to look at 45 bids. They want to look at 5.
Yeah.
And you know how I learned that? You're going to love this. I learned all that from David Lee Roth from Van Halen.
Really? I didn't know he had a government contracting experience.
He did. He taught me something that was critical in paying attention and dotting your I's and crossing your T's. I like saying that too, where it's I dot my T's and cross my I's. In their agreement, whenever Van Halen played an event, they had an agreement with their record company and with the location where they did the event.
Yeah.
They're at some arena. They had an agreement with their record company in the arena that everything would be set up. Lighting set up a certain way. There's so many bottles of water in the break room that they wanted. Blah blah blah. All these requirements. One of their requirements was a huge bowl of M&Ms with no brown M&Ms. They wanted the brown M&Ms removed. It wasn't racist or sexist because the M&M company actually took advantage of this and used it in their commercials. They did it because they wanted a visual way to make sure that the record company and the facility was paying attention to their requirements.
Yeah.
If they didn't do exactly what they required, then the show wouldn't go as well as it could. So by having that bowl of M&Ms when they walk in the room and seeing that there's no brown ones, at least they know that the record company and the location paid attention to their requirements.
Yeah.
And they got a good chance of knowing. So if a purchasing agent asks you to do 16 point size times New Roman and you don't, they know you didn't read the instructions.
Yeah, yeah. I have a client that is very similar story. I talked to him about it too. He got this from a professor in college. He sent over his list of labor categories, and it was a pretty good sized list. If I remember right, maybe 100 to 125 different labor categories. And within the list on row 63 is Mickey Mouse developer. And on row 97 is, Donald Duck engineer, so he plants these plants these little traps to see. So when I went back at him and said, I don't think you're charging enough for Mickey Mouse developer, you need to be charging at least $500 an hour for that. He knew, that I actually looked across the document and that I'm, doing what I'm supposed to. And brilliant stuff. That's kind of the next level stuff that I feel like my generation and younger is losing that kind of like tactful wisdom or just way to look at the world from a different angle and do that. My grandpa was just amazing at stuff like that. But yeah.
It's not deceptive, but it works. That's the thing. They want to know if you're paying attention. If you're not paying, why should I work with you if you're not paying attention?
Yeah. It was deceptive, but it was deceptive in a way that served a purpose.
Right.
And nowadays people probably don't do it because they feel like it's stepping on someone's toes, I won't go too much into that, but yeah, a lot more softness.
I've seen proposals where they require you to have a 1-inch border on both sides of the page.
Wow. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I guess I could figure it out in Word. You just figure it out. Yeah.
If they got a bid going out, they got 40 proposals they received. They can easily take each document, put the ruler out, and go, no, that's 3/4 garbage. No, that's 1.5 garbage.
Yeah.
You didn't follow the instructions. And they gave you specific instructions to see if you were following the instructions.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, from a slightly different angle, this is something I come across in the GSA world, writing proposals for GSA to review. Somebody follows all the rules, 1-inch border, 12 point times New Roman, all of that stuff. There's always that intangible where you're dealing with personalities on the reviewer side. KOs are different people. I've dealt with KOs that are the nicest people, do anything for anybody. I've dealt with ones where I get off the phone and I'm just like, man, I need to go kick my dog.
It's usually one or the other, right?
Yeah. So, I mean,
people are the greatest communicators, or they will never call or email.
Yeah, no, that's just one dimension. Some are abrasive and some are nice. Some are very detail oriented and some are more relaxed. Some are, very detailed. There's a huge spectrum of personalities within the KO world. And even if you follow every rule down to the T, and that's really all you have control over, do you have any tips for drafting a proposal that will kind of hit on that intangible aspect of just personalities? Kind of a weird question, I'll admit that.
No, it's not. And the best answer I can give you, and this comes from, I'm also a musician. I sing.
Oh yeah, I know.
I'm always in a band. Whatever, it's music in my life. The previous band that I was in, I may move on, knock on wood. Our drummer passed away, fought cancer for over a year, and he was a freaking fighter. He beat it several times, even beat brain cancer twice.
Wow.
But he passed away, and the one thing he used to always say to me, and I'll never forget this, and it makes perfect sense, is stick to the script. Stick to the script. When it comes to federal proposers especially, you give them exactly what they're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
No more, no less. Exactly what they're asking for. You can give them a little more. If you're bidding on a contract to cut the grass at a cemetery, and the contract says cut the grass every Tuesday and Thursday to 1 inch, weed edge, and pick up garbage. You could also add in there, we'll also pick up small branches and logs and not charge them for it. Yeah, you can give them a little bit more than what they're asking.
Yeah.
But never give them less. And give them exactly what they're asking, plus a little more.
Okay.
But if the minimum is to give them, stick to the script. Give them exactly what they're asking for. Format that document exactly the way they want it. I'll give you another little hint. This is some simple things. How do you format your documents? Most bids are submitted electronically via email. Okay? If they've got, so they've received 50 offers, They've thrown 45 of them out. And rarely does the federal get 50. They usually only get 10 to 12, 15. Sometimes you'll see a bidders list or a site visit and only 12 people showed up. So you know at that point there's only 12 people bidding. Anyway, when you submit the documents, okay, if they have 5 offers and there's 10 documents per offer, they got 50 documents. Okay, the other 4 companies that submitted their bid all submitted the documents called cover page, standard form, capability statement, technical proposal, price list, or spreadsheet, whatever. They all name their documents the same. But you name your documents, your company name, price list, solicitation. The second document was company name, capability statement, solicitation. Third document was company name, standard form, solicitation. The fourth document, even your documents are organized. They can look at their desktop and find your 5 documents and know they're all from your company.
Right.
The other 4 offers submitted their documents and it was just called cover page. So now this purchasing agent, she's got to open each cover page to see who it belongs to organize their bid.
Yeah.
So just how you title your attachments can make their job easier.
Yeah.
And make them want to hire you because they know, wow, these guys are really freaking organized. Look how they name their documents. So I know these 5 documents are theirs. Out of this 50, those are their 10.
Yeah.
I know that sounds simple, and it's almost like, color in the lines, Johnny, color inside the lines. It's that simple, but it works.
Yeah. No, that's a great insight. Not a lot. That's just next level, right? Most people don't even think about stuff like that. And when
take that to another level. Inside the file name itself, you don't want spaces between the words. So your company name _, cover _page _sol number.
Yeah.
Because some systems, okay, I'm going to show you guys how old I am. Back in the 80s, I used to work on year 2000 gate change conversion. We were selling year 2000 gate change conversion in the 80s because Fortune 500 companies were realizing we got freaking Unix or mainframe, and it only uses a 2-digit year. And once 99 is over, our computers are going to work anymore. So they started dealing with it 15 years in advance. People panicked. Oh my God, thanks for the crash.
Yeah.
Thanks for dealing with this 20 years earlier. They didn't know it. I worked for a company and we sold software development to Bombay and India to fix these problems. But long story short, there was a system called Gopher. This is before the internet. This is before AOL. This is before there was a known public internet. It's called Gopher.
Uh-huh.
And it was a transfer system that was used by the government and by large businesses and banks. They could share information through Gopher. So it was like the internet, but it was private. Okay? Gopher, if you sent a file in Gopher and it had spaces in the file name, it would corrupt and it wouldn't open. So you had to put underscores between each word in the file name. The government still has some of these old systems that they're still in use. They still have mainframes with green screens. And if you send a file without the underscores between the file name, it could corrupt. They can't open it. Your bid just got threw out before they can even.
Wow. So just knowing that stuff, knowing your customers. What was that?
Exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Make their job as easy as possible. Don't bother them at all unless you absolutely have to. That's another one that's critical. Had a guy came in, I talked to the purchasing agent this week, and he said something about this Monday. I called him Tuesday about something such. And Wednesdays, every day. Oh yeah, man, we got a great relationship.
No, you don't.
They don't want to talk to you every day. They think if I hire this guy, give him the contract, he's going to call me every day and ask me how my wife's doing. I'm not going to hire him.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that at all. This guy loves me, man. A week later, he calls me. He goes, "You're right. I blew it." What do you mean?
All right. Well,
he was going on vacation.
That reminds me of another question I was going to ask you. Debriefs, are they helpful? Are they hurtful? Do they help because you get all that insight on why you lost a bid, or are they kind of seen as bad form.
Is it a bad thing because you're wasting their time?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not, because it's the law and it's their job. So they don't dislike you for doing it because it is the law and it is their job. They do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when you do it debriefing, just ask nicely and say, debriefing, please. I've seen emails with people like that. Such and such should have won that contract. I want to debrief you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to hurt you. You're being a jerk. Why would you ever hire? Why would she ever hire you? They think he's going to be a jerk.
Yeah.
You know? So they don't take it personal because it's their job and it's the law. And as long as you do it in a polite way, it's not going to hurt you, and it's going to benefit you because you're going to know why you didn't win it. You're going to stop that bleeding.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, we're coming up at an hour or so. Great stuff. I've learned a lot. I know this information putting out in the world is going to make its way into a lot of good heads and hands. Any nuggets of wisdom to see everybody off?
The best suggestion I have is, even if you're a successful business owner, you can work less and do more if you stop bleeding. If there's mistakes you're making and you don't know it, it's the business you lose that you don't know about that's killing you. The business you know you're losing hurts, but the business you're losing you don't know about is killing you. And if I get legal with anything, just do more with less. I'll give you a quick example. I work with a stucco company. They do stucco. They put the wire up on the buildings. They put concrete on it.
Yeah.
And they were working 80 hours a week, and they were busy. No problem. But at the end of the month, they paid their employees benefits and health insurance. They paid them well. At the end of the month, they paid all the bills. 80 hours a week, and there's nothing left. What are we doing wrong? It's not high. Their market was like 12.5%. And I said, well, what would happen if you doubled your market to 25? Oh, we'd lose half our clients. You're still making the same money when you go heads. Lose half your clients, but you double your markup, you're still making the same money with half the work.
Yeah.
So if there's anything I can leave you guys, is this: don't be the cheapest. Don't be the cheapest. Because the clients that beat you up for price and want extra discounts and can you do it, can you give me half off, they're not going to be happy regardless. You can't make, and I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but I'm just going to say it, you can't make broke people happy. You can't make cheap people happy.
Yeah.
They're not happy. That's why they're broke and they're cheap. Find clients that are willing to pay you what you're worth and charge them what you're worth. Know what you're worth. I have a price on my head. I know this. I know clients pay me up to $198 an hour. So I know I'm worth that.
Yeah.
Do I cut my own grass? No, because it's not worth my time. I'm worth more than that. I'm not saying I'm above the kid that cuts my grass. The kid's awesome. But I know I'm worth more than that. Can I change the oil on my car? Hell yeah, I can. I'm savvy enough. I get my fingernails dirty. It takes me an hour. It costs $12.99 at the Jiffy Lube, and I'm done in 15 minutes. So why would I change my own oil?
Mm-hmm.
Except if it's something I love,
Yeah.
So charge what you're worth. Don't be the cheapest. Do what you love, and know what you're worth. If you need to hire someone to do something, hire them because they're knowledgeable in the arena. It's worth it for you to hire them to do it right than to take your time and your worth much more than that to try and figure it out on your own.
Right.
Or hire a professional that will teach you and your team.
Yeah.
Or hire a professional like you that will do it for you. Because guys, as far as GSA, what you do, brother, that's something I would never. Anytime a client says I want to do a GSA, I tell them do not do it. Here's Josh's phone number. Do not do it on your own.
Yeah.
It'll cost you way more to try it on your own, and you'll still most likely not do it right.
I'm a little impartial, but I think that's the way to go too.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
GSA, 8A, even Upzone, those, you should hire a professional for those. They're not easy.
Yeah.
And if you don't do them right, you're not going to get qualified.
Yeah.
And if you do them wrong, you might be disqualified.
Yeah. And you're losing a lot of opportunities as you're trying to educate yourself the hard way. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, John. Well, how does somebody get a hold of you? I know that growmybusinessquick.com is out there. What else can somebody do?
Well, even if you're not looking to hire professionals like us right now, and you just want to learn more, go to YouTube and search John Wayne Government Contracts. I got 500. I'm 20 something pages deep. Watch some videos, educate yourself, learn. Get some insight. And then if you want to reach out to us, the number is 727-678-3521. 727-678-3521. It's on most of our videos. It's on all the websites. Why do we not have an 800 number? Because we don't need one. And I think it's overrated. We're more of a personal type of business. We like to connect, and all of our trainings done one-on-one. So that phone number is answered 24/7, 365. Because if you need us, we're available because you need us. You also go to growmybusinessquick.com. You can actually search growmybusinessquick.com or just Grow My Business Quick on Google, and it comes up number one. But there's like 6 people running ads on us right now. So they come up first with their ad, which shows that we're doing something right.
Yeah.
When people run ads under your name and your business.
I've gotten pretty good at scanning ads and finding the first result. It's a 21st century talent right there that we all have.
But yeah, just go straight to the site, growbusinessquick.com, or like I said, go on YouTube and search John Wayne Government Contracts and watch some videos.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, John. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure. You have fun on the ranch with this week and with your kids. Enjoy some good weather we're getting here in the South.
We're going to do some fishing. We're going to barbecue. We're going to hang out. But again, that phone is right there, and it will be answered. If someone calls me, and I'm going to say this in closing. No one's ever bothered. I worked on a bid with a client for an hour, and he worked on it for 3 or 4 hours, and then it was Father's Day, and the bid was due the next day, and he didn't call me because it was Father's Day. He knows I have kids. He had kids. So he didn't call me. He didn't get our advice, and then he didn't submit the bid. And then the next week, he let me know, hey, I didn't submit that bid because I didn't want to bother you on Father's Day. Well, now you're bothering me because you didn't call me. That bothers me. That it would have taken me 5 minutes to answer that question. You would have submitted the bid, might have won it, and we both would have shared the profits.
Yeah.
But instead, you thought by calling me on Father's Day, you were bothering me. I'm not a bother. You can call me 24/7, 365. This phone is always answered. Because if you need us, Christmas, my birthday, your birthday, Mother's Day, I don't care. You guys need us, let me know.
Yeah. Well, that's a rare quality nowadays.
Huge. Nobody does.
Yeah.
We do.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up and sign off. Thanks so much, John. Appreciate it.
Hey, always, man. Appreciate you. Virtual fist bump. And it's Friday. Have a great weekend.
You too.